What is going on, guys? You are listening to KGVM Bozeman 95.9 or KGVM.org. My name is Devon Brosnan, and you're about to listen to an interview that I call DevFM Interviews. DevFM is a show I have every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m., and this interview was something very special. It's actually going to be the last interview for this band before a few of the members split off and do their own thing. The band is Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs. They're going to talk all about the music that they have coming out, what the next steps are for the band, and how pumped they are for this upcoming show here at the Elm on December 8th of 2023, their last show together here in Bozeman. So it's an awesome interview. I was really humbled that I got to sit down with these guys and talk to them about it. You guys are going to like it too. I think you will. So stay tuned. We got about 45 minutes here of an awesome interview with Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs. You can listen to their music wherever streaming music is done. And, you know, I don't know. I think you guys are going to really like it. These guys are really cool people. They're really funny. So stay tuned. You guys are listening to DevFM Interviews, Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs here on KGVM Bozeman. What is going on? Oh, I started a little early. There we go. Already out to a professional start there. What is going on, guys? My name is Devon Brosnan here from KGVM Bozeman 95.9 FM or KGVM.org. I have a very, very special guest here in the studio with me tonight. An interview that I've been very much looking forward to here. I have Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs. And if you don't know who they are, you will definitely know after this interview. These guys are awesome, and we have a very, very special show coming up here at the Elm, which is what they're going to be promoting here tonight. If you don't know who they are, they're an energetic Americana band from Bozeman, the one and only Montana, that infuses 4-part harmonies, engaging songwriting, and rock and roll drive into a modern approach to traditional folk music. Through it all, the band is able to convey heartfelt honesty, getting the audience to immerse themselves in the moment by dancing, singing, and laughing along. It's true. I've seen the videos, and man, you guys know how to put on a hell of a show. They've been touring full-time for 7 years. They play notable festivals such as Bourbon and Beyond, Under the Big Sky, Grand Target. How do you pronounce that? Grand Target? Target? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Bluegrass, Blue Ox. Oh my gosh, they've done so much. I'm very happy to welcome Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs here with me tonight. What is going on, guys?
Hi.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So I'm going to go through and just introduce everyone who I got with me here. I'm going to go by the way it's listed because we're doing the 2021, I almost said 2023 way Google Meet. We love to do it this way. I got Matt Damaris, Ethan Damaris, Josh Moore, and Lena Schiffer here in the studio with me. Guys, I really appreciate you coming on the show with me here tonight. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna get into it first. Tell me a little bit. Actually, I'll start with you, Lena. Tell me a little bit about you guys. How do you want to be known here to people who wouldn't know your music? I know you guys have a huge following out here in Bozeman and beyond. I know that as well. So how do you guys classify yourselves? Because I wouldn't call you just a bluegrass band, like you guys are something a little bit more special than that. You have these elements that really add together and agglomerate to something a lot more special. So how would you describe it? How would you describe your experience?
Yeah, we definitely don't fit into the traditional bluegrass, but that is definitely where it kind of started. And Matt wanted to he was sort of the initiator of the band and wanted to have sort of a stomp grass type sound. And that's where we've kind of defined ourselves with that word a lot. But also in the recent year or two, we've been hearing the word, I think it was alternative bluegrass. Was that what it was, Matt? That we watched?
Solid.
It was alternative bluegrass. It's sort of like a branch of it, just like most, rock has a bunch of branches off of it and pop and all of that stuff. It's sort of just an alternative, more stompy version of it.
I love it. Can you think of any other alternative bluegrass? I feel like are you guys starting that movement?
Matt.
Awesome.
Absolutely, we're pioneers of alternative bluegrass, blazing through since day one. No, I don't know if there's necessarily like bands that are like full on alternative. A couple of the bands that we really enjoy are like Brothers Comatose and Devil
Yeah.
Makes Three and Steel Drivers and Travel by Turtles is probably the most notable one. That's kind of maybe the most indie or like alternative, as you would say.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you guys are talking about, but especially what I mean in that genre in itself. I mean, it's highly saturated, and I feel like I've heard some critics call that it says that it's not very varied in sound. However, I mean name a genre that isn't, first of all, but second of all, for you guys, I feel like you guys have crafted your own sound that really stands out from everything else, and you guys have paved your way to success through that way. And so I was wondering, I would love to see like how in the future how this sound can be crafted. Do you guys have any ideas on? I know you're embarking on your own stuff after this show. Do you guys plan to expand upon this sound? Maybe with Josh, I know you're a guitarist there and you do vocals as well. Do you have any plans that you plan to go through to expand the sound a little bit more?
I'd say at this point, 2024 is going to be a year of rebuilding. As Lena and Brian are taking off on their own endeavors, it'll allow the opportunity for us to kind of pivot a little bit. And, I think that the first 7 years of the band had a distinct sound going on. And then we've sort of tried to consciously evolve in the last couple albums. And I'd say that, as we move forward and come out of this rebuild, we're hoping that it'll just continue to evolve. And, it's like if things aren't changing, then they're stagnant. So I'd like to think that, the future will be bright and the sound will continue to change a little bit especially as we add a couple new members.
Oh yeah. Okay. So are you guys carrying on the Bird Dogs name, like that band name? You guys are carrying that on?
To be determined. We have some other band names that we've tossed around over the years.
Oh man. I mean, if you're willing to share, I'd love to hear them. I would love to hear you guys cooking up.
How long is this interview?
Yeah, as long as you want. Let's go through the whole list, man.
I feel like I have a document in my phone of like past names we've come up with.
Yeah,
let's do a public consensus.
The first one that comes to mind is our Creed Queen cover band idea called Queed, and this is the Beatles Eagles mashup called the Beagles, and the Iron Dandies. I don't know. We've come up with a million of them.
Wow, that's
a lot of fan time.
You should just switch every show, man. Who cares about the brand?
Why not, man? It's 2023. You can't put us in a box.
There is no box. Yeah, exactly. I love it, man. Well, I got to tell you guys, you've been around, like I said. You guys formed 10 years ago? Is that right? 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And then I know that you guys have been touring full time for the past 7 years. Is that right? Oh my gosh. And yes. So you guys are pretty much just about, yeah. And so that tenure together is impressive. And being connected to the music scene here in Bozeman myself, I have a lot of friends and their bands who are trying to accomplish exactly what you guys have done. And so can you shed a little insight, maybe I don't know, whoever wants to take the question, can you shed a little insight into the band's beginnings, how you brought it from, I'm assuming 5 friends playing together, you guys met up, and how you turned that into touring full time? Was there a process there? Yeah, Josh, you're right. You should have told me to say a name. I don't know who to ask. Who's doing all that? Who's the business side?
I think we've one key to our success over the past few years is we kind of figured out what roles everyone, what strengths everyone has. Cause as artists, we have to not only write the music, and perform, but we also have to do the business side of it. And Matt and I kind of started out with just the booking side of things and booking a lot of our own gigs. And, Ethan has taken care of a lot of the marketing and merch, and Josh has been we hired him right away to just take care of our money because no one else wanted to do that. And Josh is good with numbers. And Brian's been kind of our social media and graphic designer. So we kind of just delegated roles right at the beginning, and that has helped us a lot with just, doing all the business side of things. But as far as making it work goes in the long run, I think what it comes down to is getting 5 people who are willing to do it and have the like fervor and passion and drive to get through touring all the time and being together all the time. And you just have to have like people willing to do it, and then you just kind of blindly jump into it. I think there was a lot of blind faith with us getting out on the road.
Yeah, well, especially, I mean, it sounds like, I think a testament to your guys' success can definitely be attributed to, it sounds like everyone has a specific role and everyone is very familiar with that role, willing to partake and exceed in that role. Is that something that, do you guys see other bands? I'm assuming you have to be friends with other bands. Do you guys see those roles being delegated and understood in that same way? Or is this something that's pretty unique to you guys, being able to handle these roles yourselves, splitting it up equally, and then getting it out there?
I'll take this one. I think that all the bands that are at our level, we like to refer to ourselves as middle class musicians at this point, I'd say. And our buddies that are within our ballpark, they've all figured out some formula that works. I don't know if there's like a way. If I were talking to a young band trying to figure it out, I don't think there's like a handbook or anything like that. But making sure that any one person isn't too overloaded is probably essential. And then just like it's just running a small business, and everybody's got to have their own role, and some people are better at things than others, and recognizing that and playing to those strengths, I think, really helps.
Yeah,
it's helped us over the years for sure.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is understanding what role that they are willing to play. And for me, I know that was for me for a long time too. It was just like, what is my role here in life? And on the grand scheme of things, do you guys consider yourself musicians? Like, and obviously you do it professionally, but at the heart of your guys' self, do you, each one of you, consider that to be like that's who you are? That's your artistry, or is it that deep for you guys? Josh, you laughed. I'm curious. What's up?
We've joked a lot about our shortcomings as musicians. I think that the imposter syndrome is ever present. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we played a million festivals, and every single one of them, you're the worst guitar player. Not even just playing on stage, but afterwards, some audience member will grab a guitar and shred. So you're like, that just lives there. But I think that we're, I mean, we consider ourselves professionals at this point, and it's a loose term, but we've made a decade of money out of it. So it's like, I don't know how else to quantify it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you guys, Ethan and Lena and Matt, do you guys have that same imposter syndrome too when you guys go up on there? Maybe Matt, if you want to take it first. Oh, Ethan, you go for it, buddy.
Oh, sorry. No, I just kind of think that like together as a band, that it kind of feels that like as time goes on, there's less and less. It's kind of like the band camaraderie. A lot of these things where there's just kind of a lot of really great like studio musicians or other musicians that just kind of like form bands, where we kind of like joined together 10 years ago, and we have like this camaraderie, and we know each other, and I think that's where our strong suit is that we all know each other and we play off each other, and we may not be the the most virtuosic performers or instrumentalists, but I think that the songs ring clear, and I think that we put on a good show.
I agree, yeah. And going off of that too, especially with your guys' performances, like I've said, unfortunately I haven't had the pleasure of seeing it myself in person. I have had a lot of friends who have seen you guys, and they spoke very highly about your shows. I've seen videos in preparation for this, and you guys definitely bring the energy, and that's a really good point, Ethan. Like, even you can I'm sure you guys feel this way when you're up on stage. You could feel like you're the worst artist in the world, but that energy and that crowd is bringing it, and you guys, and it's because of you guys, and the performance that you're bringing. And so I'm sure that has a lot of good feelings that come with that, and a lot of validation too. And so that brings me, so you guys have the show coming up at the Elm. That's on Friday, the 8th, right? Is this your guys' last show all together? Like as together as the 5? Maybe Lena, if you want to take that one.
Sure. Yes, this is going to be our last show with all 5 of us. Brian, this will be his last show. He's our fiddle player. But the other 4 of us, me and Matt and Ethan and Josh, will be continuing. We have 4 other shows on the calendar. So the last show that I'm playing with them is December 31st on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. And you guys are out in Salt Lake.
This Bozeman show is going to be a big one. It's just sort of worked out on our calendar that way that it's going to be the last time in Bozeman that we're playing as the 5 of us.
Oh man, yeah, the hometown too. You guys looking forward to it? What's the emotions going into this show? How you guys feeling? Looks like you guys. I mean, I'm sure it's a somber feeling. I don't know about bittersweet. I don't know if I want to venture that far. But definitely, it seems like you guys are. You know, I can see the emotions, and so are you guys ready to rock? I know you guys are going to bring it, but I mean, I know Matt's over there with the banjo. That guy always shreds it. Matt, you ready to go up on there and do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like that's just what I'm kind of trying to take from these last handful of shows. Just sort of just cherish it. Just sort of kind of soak it up and squeeze it for all it's worth. Just get the last 5 shows done with, and yeah, I'm super excited and ready to rock, as you'd say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it, man. So I want to go into what I want to go back a little bit. We're at the end. We were talking about the end here now. I want to go back to the beginning here for a moment. When you guys were first coming up, you guys came out, this was all in Bozeman, right? Like you guys are you all born and raised Bozeman?
Nope.
No.
Don't say California, then we'll have to cancel the whole interview. No, Which one? Which one of you? Who's the imposter? makes you feel any better.
I'm from California.
Oh wait, I'm from SoCal. If it makes you feel any better.
I also am from SoCal.
No way. Where, Orange County?
Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah, Santa Barbara. I love Santa Barbara. See, that's not too bad, At least it's like,
yeah. I mean, I'm not one of the Californians that just came in and bought a bunch of giant houses and never lives here, so I feel like it's okay.
Speak for yourself. That's me, guys.
I'm a poor musician. It's like, give me a break.
I love it, man. Too bad. I should have told you guys we could have done this interview at my house in the YC. It would have been awesome. You guys would have loved it.
Next time, Devon.
Yeah, next time. Yeah. I love it. All right. But I was gonna say, so all right, so coming, you're here in Bozeman. You guys, how did you guys even form? What brought it all together? Who was the person that started it all?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I initially was learning how to play banjo and put an ad on Craigslist looking for an accompanying guitar player. And Lena was one of the very first people to answer the ad and showed up at the trailer park, and the rest is history. And then obviously Ethan is my little brother, my little big brother.
I love it.
And he joined the band a little later, initially playing mandolin, became with his bass, playing bass later, and Lena knew Brian from other endeavors. And a couple years down the road, Josh was our favorite bartender in town, and also a musician that we respected a whole lot. So
I love it. Josh, which one were you working at?
I was at the Old Bacchus.
Oh, the Old Bacchus Pub. There we go. Oh, she's rocking the glass. Look at that.
It was literally from Josh's apartment. That was upstairs from the Bacchus.
The Bacchus Pub, man. No, fun fact for you, Josh. Wait, when were you working there? I'm assuming not within the past few years.
It was probably, we'll say 14 to 16 or something like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was
right up till the end.
I love it, man. That was the first bar that I ever went to when I came here to Bozeman for the first time, was Bacchus Pub. And I was like, this is going to be a good place.
Yeah, it was a good run.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I love that. But that leads me to my next question. So you guys came together, you started doing it. And I see what to me that's a little bit more unique is that you guys have 4 vocalists, You got Lena, Matt, Brian, and Josh. You guys are all doing vocals on there. And so, Ethan, do you feel left out? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No.
No, I know my place.
There's no Ringo situation going on here, where you want to do some vocals.
I have a lot of underwater songs that I've been working on, so yeah, just hold out on those.
A lot of underwater songs. I love it. Oh my gosh!
Not in the shower, not from a mountaintop, just underwater.
Yeah, totally,
yeah. No specific underwater. It could be any underwater. Yeah. Maybe a pool, a glass of water. I love it, man. Hey, let it go wild, man. I want to see the underwater album from Ethan. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right. But so 4 of you guys are doing vocals. Who's doing the arranging vocally, the vocal production, especially in the studio albums? Who's doing the vocal arrangements?
We kind of, we feel it out.
Just feel it out. So you sort of just rock with it, right?
With the arrangements?
We are less of the classical, we're not plinking it out on the piano or on our guitar. We kind of just find the harmonies that work best for our voices, and we've kind of learned over the years that each of us have a different range, so it's me and Matt seem to sing in the same range, so we'll end up having harmonies that are kind of near each other, and Josh can sing low or high, so we kind of fit him in wherever it seems to make sense, and Brian has that perfect kind of middle range that just kind of glues it all together. So it's not very technical the way we come up with it.
That's cool though. Yeah, I love that because it comes across that way in a really good way, it still sounds extremely, extremely professional. And I'm very particular about that. I have a lot of, especially, Laney, coming from Southern California, I feel like every other friend is I'm a musician or a rapper. Yeah. And so you can tell immediately, especially if you have an ear for production, when it's not super professional sounding. So it's really cool to hear that you guys almost have a DIY style when it comes to the actual arrangement or composing. It sounds like, and then you come together and make it sound so professional. I think that's really cool. Is that something that it's a skill that you guys have acquired on your own over time? Like maybe Josh, or Matt, especially with you working with Elena, did you have to, you're like, okay, this is what works and this is what doesn't? Or is that something you guys just picked up right there on the spot? It was just, you guys heard it and you're like, I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, I think there's definitely when you're with a group for 10 years, there's a lot of trial and error. And I don't think we ever set out to be like this or that, or just like anybody, like you're kind of alluding to. I do think we kind of found our own little niche, our own little sound. Mm-hmm. And I do think it's because of the uniqueness of our voices together. A lot of that, and we never really set out to be like a traditional bluegrass band. We never really set out to be we're gonna be just like this band or just like that band. It was just we try to do us as best as we can, and hopefully that differentiates us out there. And I think it did for the most part.
I agree. Yeah, especially like I said, just listening to your guys' studio albums. I was listening to which one was I listening to today? I listened to Coyote. I've heard that actually recent. It's funny. Before I even knew I'd be doing this interview with you guys, I saw the promotion you guys did for Coyote earlier this year that came out. That was in June, I believe, right? June 2nd is when that album came out. And the album before that, one that I actually really, really enjoyed, this is what I was listening to today, Through the Smoke. And that was recorded, sorry, one moment. That was recorded in February of 21. And you say that I was listening to it today, and I almost didn't want to spoil it, when I was going to talk about this, but it really does feel like it. It feels, you guys have it listed here as a album is one of personal transformation. And I could not agree more, especially listening to the lyricism on there. And in particular, my favorite one was Count on You. And so that featured definitely predominantly Lena's vocals. Lena, was that something that you wrote, that song? And is there a story behind that one? Because I could feel the emotion pouring out of it.
Yeah, thank you. I did write that song, and it's one of those songs that came out really quickly, which we always love when that happens. I just was messing around in open tuning, an open D tuning one night, and just started stream of consciousness singing, And what was coming out were like those first sort of airy lyrics, the I don't need much of anything, I don't need you to bring the best out of me. And it just sort of became a love song that had to do with being in the pandemic and like being isolated and really needing to like rely on the people that were in your circle. So, you know, particularly I was talking about my husband, but like I also had roommates and also had like my bandmates that were in our group. And we really had to just like count on each other to get through some of the hardest stuff we've ever gotten through, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think in the past like couple of years, it's become sort of a song that I like to dedicate to our fans for sticking with us through the thick and thin too. It's just an overall love tune to everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What was that last part you said?
Oh, just it's like a love song to everybody who's been in your corner before when you need it.
Yeah, I love that. I totally get that vibe when I'm listening to it. And I really like it. So you said that you wrote that song. Do all of you guys, like Josh, you do songwriting, Matt, you do songwriting, or is it usually fall into someone's lap between someone here?
Let's say yes. Let's go to Josh.
Yeah, we definitely are all writing. I don't know if constantly would be the right word, but we write in healthy spurts, let's say. And you know, like when we're doing a song, typically, you know, everything has exceptions, but one of us will come to the group with, you know, anything from 10% of a song to almost done, and then we'll present it to the group and let everybody put their little flav on there. And you know, that kind of helps get everybody invested in the song itself when everybody feels like they're contributing artistically. And I feel like we've come up with a pretty good formula for that, and try to be supportive of everything that comes through we call it the meat grinder. See what comes out the other end. Sausage.
I love it.
Yeah. A good example of that is that song Count on You. Like I took the lyrics and sort of this finger picking style to begin the song, and I was starting to play this rhythm, but Josh was the one who came up with the predominant rhythm of that song, which really is the feel of the tune. Once you get through the intro, it's like it's the meat of the song. So it's sort of like when you bring a song to the table, you never know how it's going to evolve once you show for other people. And our sound has always been like that. It's like always collaborative by the end.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you guys just have a really solid process of working together, which especially you would hope for after working together for so long. But that leads me to a question I'm curious about, Lena. And when you think about leaving, you know, and you're going to be out of the band soon, does this process that you've been so...
That was me. Sorry, I gotta interrupt. I gotta jump off. Sorry.
It's all good, Ethan.
Okay.
Thanks, bud.
You need to get out of here. Beat it, loser.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That sounded like
That's exactly what it sounded like. Was a
like
fart.
a fart foghorn.
Seems like we have an emergency.
Sorry, guys. That was my
I'm
producer.
gonna go wash my teeth.
Oh man, that was awesome.
That's the bird dogs in a nutshell, right there.
There you go. We're just gonna cut everything we've said so far just down to that 30-second soundbite, and then that'll be the whole interview. That's what's gonna be released. I'm not cutting that out either. Oh man. Anyways, how do I even go back to what I was asking from that? I think it's over. No, I was kidding. So this process, Lena, this process that you're used to, you know, are you nervous moving on that you're gonna? Like, yeah, obviously you're used to finding your own way, it sounds like, but I don't know if you're going to go solo, if you're going to go to another band. I don't know what's going on, but are you nervous or maybe a little anxious about leaving this process that you're so used to?
Yeah, I am. I think it's nice to have four people's perspective, even though it's equally difficult. So I guess it's sort of like both answers. It's like I'm nervous and I'll probably miss having that input and having there to a certain point. I would start like hearing what they might suggest when I was writing a song, or hearing what the Bird Dogs might do with a song. So I think there's going to be a shift when I start writing on my own, and I already have been a little bit, but that's also the exciting part to me, I think, is just to like also have it coming from me solely and see what happens. Since it's been 10 years of us sharing songs with each other, I'm just curious to hear what comes out in my solo project. So we'll see.
Well, it makes you feel any better. We're all very excited. I know that for sure. And it's funny. It was, oh yeah, of course.
I just think it's cool. It's important for everyone, hopefully, to know that we're all like continuing to play music. Like, Josh and Matt and Ethan certainly might come up with something together to continue and evolve the Bird Dogs, or individually. I know Brian is going to continue, and I know I will too. And I feel like really grateful that we're able to like celebrate these last few shows together. It's like just celebrating so much work that we've put in for the last 10 years. And I also like to think it's not like a death. It's just a continuation. It's just like part of this journey that we're on. So
I like that. Yeah. Very healthy mentality to look at it too. It's just, nothing really ends, right? It just moves on to a next chapter. And that's what you guys are embarking on. Not to sound cheesy, but I do mean it. It's like, you guys, especially for such a long run, I'm trying to think. I'm lucky enough to have interviewed a good amount of people here so far at the station, and I'm trying to think who's had such a fruitful and long career as you guys, and especially no band for sure. You guys are by far the longest, that have been around doing it, and so to me, I'm like, wow, that's just so special. And so it's going to be an awesome show here at the Elm. I got just maybe one or two more questions for you guys. Appreciate you letting me take up your time. Matt, I have a very specific question for you, Matt, because you freaking shred it on the banjo, man. And so is this something that you were born with? Like, I can't imagine it not. Obviously you had to be born with it to a degree, but like, is this something that you were like, you knew from like 3 years old, you're sitting there ripping on the banjo, like from, what's that one movie with, you know what I'm talking about? The kid at the banjo is sitting on the front
Deliverance.
step. Thank you, Deliverance. Yes.
That was actually me as a kid.
They casted you in it.
No, the answer to your question is absolutely not. Like the banjo wasn't even on my radar until my 30s. And I'm 32 now, so. No, I started playing. I'm a guitar player by trade, I guess.
Oh, really?
I can see your face, Josh. Don't make any faces. Primarily, I was like a metal guitar player, which I think is what led to the kind of wanting to be shreddy,
Yeah.
No, banjo was not on my radar until very late, and like life thus far, So
yeah,
I've only been playing banjo for basically since the band was the inception of the band. So maybe like 11 years, 11 and a half, maybe.
Wow, so like right before.
When I got Lane, I'd only been playing for maybe a year. So,
my gosh,
yeah,
I love it. Same thing goes for you, Josh. Like, and it's hard for me to. For a lot of other bands, it's hard for me to differentiate, especially when you have two guitarists on stage at the same time. It's hard for me to differentiate who's doing what part. And I don't know the technical terms for it, but one's doing the higher part, one's doing the lower part, or they're interweaving some type of harmony going on there. And I think you, Josh, in particular, have really mastered the harmony of it. Is that something that in particular that you worked on? Like, do you just fell into this way of harmonizing, especially with having another guitarist on stage? It's one thing to when you're on stage doing your vocals, harmonizing vocally, but then to also do it with the guitar playing with Lena. Do you hold yourself pride with that? You have to.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm prideful about my guitar playing by any means, but when there's multiple guitars on stage, you just have to find your own slot or whatever you want to call it to live in. And I played in a band before this that had 3 guitars.
Wow.
Believe it or not. So like I lived above the 7th fret for most of my show playing days until this band.
Yeah.
But Lena naturally plays on the 1 and the 3, so I sit back on the 2 and the 4, and it's really fun. Like, you can find really nice voicings, with the different chord shapes and stuff. So like, if she's playing open, I'll either bar or capo on 5 and play the C shape instead of the E or A, and well, I think she and I have found a really nice groove of staying off of each other, but like really complementing each other really well. And it really comes, in my opinion, comes out in a nice way when she's playing in open tunings, and I'm doing twinkly stuff up high on the fretboard, and I don't know.
Yeah, no,
it's not rocket science by any means, but
You say that though for you. For me, I'm like, wow, like, especially not being a musician by any means. I'm absolutely flabbergasted when especially, your guys' genre, and then alternative bluegrass, as we're now calling it. You guys have owned that space by far. I mean, just look at your record, when you're looking at all these festivals you guys have played, the accolades with this, what show? Oh, 11th and Grant. You guys play Montana Sessions, No Country No More. Like, it obviously expands outside of the stage, but to me, it's just like, wow. I feel like a little kid in a candy shop when I'm watching you guys, because I'm just like, ooh, I get to pick apart this piece of production, or this part of the vocal production, this instrument, and you guys just weave it together so well. It's very impressive. And one example that really comes to mind for me is Wishing Well off of Coyote. And oh, you guys, is there a story there? No,
just go on. Yeah,
just take the gas. Yeah, I gotcha. I'm just kidding. No, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just like the different tempos. Like, that one in particular I think it had 2 different tempos that you guys threw in there, and so that
more than that. More than that.
There's more.
The constantly changing tempo.
Yeah, literally.
I guess the story with that song, if there was one, as far as like the tempo and the feel of it, is that was the one song on that whole album that we didn't play to a click track. So because it had a really natural feel where it would start slow and eerie and get faster and more intense, because it's certainly this like murder ballad kind of song. So it was really difficult to record, but we did it intentionally to like just let it kind of naturally have a few different tempos.
Yeah, I mean, it comes across that way. I like that. I like murder ballad.
It's sort of a folk tune or folk term, but yeah, that was Josh's take on a female serial killer song.
Oh, really? I got that, but I didn't get serial killer. That's really fascinating. Yeah. Is there anyone in particular, Josh? Someone close to you, maybe? No, I was kidding, but
there would be no way of knowing if that would be.
Whoa, spooky! Save this one for the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Oh man, I don't know. I just think that song in particular really stuck out to me. But I mean, all right, I'll close it out here. You guys have given me a lot of your time, but I want to just touch on one more thing. I want to ask each one of you. You guys have been on tour for 7 years full time. You guys have to have, I'm sure, one story that really, in particular, really sticks out in your head. If anyone has one first, you can start it off while the others think, or if no one has it, that's okay. But one story in particular where it's just like, it was hilarious, maybe between the band or maybe with the audience, anything like that. I know it's a tough one. And if it takes a long time to figure, we can edit it out.
I'm just going to go with what's coming to my mind, was that it was like not even a show that meant a ton to anyone or whatever. But it was that Winter Park gig in Colorado that was in the parking lot, and it was the last day of the season. But it was like, so it was the ski season, and we were like doing the parking lot party, and there was snow that was melting on the ground. So it was really slushy, and it was almost like raining because it was like spring skiing. And we decided to get high before the show, which we don't do.
Hey, it's legal.
And that was a good example of why we don't do that. Because then the power was going in and out because it was raining, and there was
Oh
like
my
the
gosh.
power supply was getting water on it and cutting out, and we were too like high to like really figure out how to help, and we were like probably gonna get electrocuted, and it was just one of those like shit show of a kind of ridiculous. It was a ridiculous show to play. And it stands out. I remember it.
I love it. Matt and Josh, does that show stand out in your guys' memory too?
Oh yeah,
That
oh, yeah.
turns out-
That was a bad one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'd like to say, but there's a lot of things. I know there's a couple that I shouldn't say.
Hey, you say whatever you want, buddy. No judgment zone.
We were opening for the Steel Drivers one time, and we were in Redford. Where was it? We're somewhere near Canada.
Rexford, yeah.
Yeah, Rexford, Montana. And we were kind of unclear on what time we were supposed to go on. We weren't really like super clear what time our set started, and but I know we were all like pretty tired and hungry from just the past couple shows, and we got served this big awesome meal, just a super spread of like ribeyes and coconut shrimp and mashed potatoes, and we were all just super stoked about this fabulous meal we had in front of us. And the owner of the place walks in and goes, "So, what time you guys plan on going on?" We're like, "Oh, we'll probably go on, half an hour, 45 minutes or so." He's like, "Well, we're like 10 minutes into your guys' set already, so that the sooner you guys can go on, the faster we get the Steel Drivers on stage, and you guys can get out of town." We're like, "You gotta be kidding me, man!"
10 minutes in already.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to finish the meal?
Like
You did. Like,
way
4
later.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
a bite.
that was a sad day in our.
I was about to say, that sounds like that. I'm depressed now.
We also got to party at the Steel Drivers later that night. And it was there were some members of the Steel Drivers that we made sick. So I will not name them.
Yeah, they got
We
there.
partied them out. It was sweet.
A little cosmic retribution is what that sounds like.
That's our next album title, I think.
Yeah, cosmic retribution.
Josh, you surely have a positive story to tell, right?
Yeah, you got to even it out.
They're immediately going to the ones that went awry.
Tell about that one kid in the wheelchair, and you just, you were playing and singing to him, and then afterwards, it was like a Make-A-Wish thing. Something like that.
Positive. I'd say the one positive story that pops into my head is the late Jeff Austin. We were opening for the Jeff Austin band down in Denver, and we were playing Cervantes, and we were in the big room for the first time, and we were all pretty wigged out because it's a big room, and it was like kind of early on in our tour history, and it was just a few weeks, I think, before he passed away. But we were kind of psyching ourselves up for the beginning of the show, and 10 minutes beforehand we pop out, there's like no one there. It's a huge room that holds 2,000 people or something, and so we were kind of outside of the green room going like, all right, let's just give her hell, even if there's no one here, let's just do what we do.
Love it.
And then so we started kind of doing a little bit of harmony vocal warm up and stuff, and Jeff Austin popped his head out and just said, "Hey guys, just be yourselves. They're gonna love you." Oh. And that was, I don't know, I think that lives with all of us, those words.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a tender moment with a legend that we all hold in the highest regard. So, I think those words will live in my brain for the rest of time.
I love it. And how did that show end up being? I'm assuming you guys were just empowered by that.
It was a kick-ass show. Yeah. They showed up and, ended up being amazing. So
I love it, man. That's a good message right there. You just got to give it your all every single time. It could be one person in there. It could be 1,000 people in there, but giving it your all. I know what you mean, man. I know that feeling. That was a nice little positive end note. There we go. See, you crushed it, Josh. Don't worry. Yeah. A little chef's kiss. I love it. Oh man. Well, that's is this your guys'? This gonna be your last public interview before the band is? Wow, what an honor! appreciate you guys
I
having.
believe so.
Thanks for being here. I
Believe
appreciate
so.
you guys being here with me. I have Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs here with me. I got Lena, aka Laney Lou, Matt, and Josh. Ethan was in here earlier, but then he farted and left.
Not going down in history.
Yeah, that was just the way to blow it off. But these guys are going to be performing here at the Elm on December 8th. That's this upcoming Friday. Really excited to see the show. We actually have a few tickets here at KGVM that we'll be giving away to some lucky listeners or callers if you guys want to engage with that. So I know I'm looking forward to it. Is there anything you guys want to promote, anything like that, anything you want to say before we head off?
If you're going to see it, come see it, boys and girls. There's only 250 tickets or so left, so get your asses out there.
Ooh, it's selling out. Yeah, it'll be sold out. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. Anything, Lena, Matt, anything from you guys, or we're ready to head out?
I'd say this is the one to see. It's going to be a show to remember, and it's just going to be like a giant community hug in a show.
That's so true. Yeah, you guys are, I would say, a representation of the music community here. All the local bands that I know from being here over the past year and a half, they all have mentioned you guys. You know, it's almost like you're the mothership and you're being called home. So it's going to be a hell of a show. We're really excited to see it. I really appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. Like I said, Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs will be here at the Elm on December 8th for their last show here in Bozeman together. We're really excited. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right. Well, wasn't that fun, y'all? Well, shout out to Lena, Matt, Josh, and Ethan for being on my show here. That was so much fun. I really enjoy their music, and I hope that you guys got to know a little bit about them more from hearing that interview. Those guys are really cool people. They're a Bozeman staple, so it's a bitter, very bitter, also sweet that they get to go on and carry on some of their own stuff after Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs. We're very excited to see them here on December 8th at the Elm. Just so you know, we do have free tickets that we're giving out here at KGVM Bozeman. So make sure to tell us your favorite Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs song. All you have to do is send that song to info@kgvm.org. and we will get you on the list. Make sure you do it before Friday, though, because tickets are selling fast. So shout out to Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of DevFM Interviews. Up next, we're going to have some fun programming here on KGVM Bozeman. You guys are going to love it. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening.